it's important for us to know when we're talking about women in history, we must know about the three mamas in St. Thomas, who in the 17th century liberated the islands militarily from the Dutch. And the island stayed free for more than 9 years. They run the island before British, Dutch, and German put together to put these women down. We must know these things. We must know. Women liberation didn't start in 1960 when we started burning bras. Makeda in Ethiopia, in Saba, she was a woman ruler who came after 3,000 years of uninterrupted rule.
It's okay. You know, when you protect it and you are living righteously, you good. Like, I've had people contact me like, yo, did you do something to me? Like, hell no, I would never do that. I don't do anything to people to help them or harm them without their permission, unless it's something bigger, like unless, you know, somebody is missing, it comes across the news or something like that. But other than that, I don't do anything for people without their permission. However, my ancestors don't take kindly to people not doing right by me, you know.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I say.
So, yeah, but I want to talk about this meet and greet you have coming up. I saw it's going to be food there, so you know I'm already interested. As soon as I find out food's going to be somewhere.
You all in? I'm really excited about the event because, you know, I started doing readings like this like 20 years ago when I was like 12. But life happens, you know, society puts life on you, and you become focused on going to school, getting a good job, and all those things. But as of the past few years, I've been doing a lot of the same work again, but I do everything over the phone or over the internet. So I wanted to give people an opportunity to get that service from me in person, take things offline. I think that we are very dependent upon the internet at this point, and who can tell what will happen in the future. So it's important for us, especially our people, to be able to have these connections and bridge these gaps in our area. And there are a lot of people who are members of my tribe, with clients of mine in different areas. So everybody will get to meet each other. We'll get to come out. We will be eating, of course, at the event. I will have the opportunity for people to get one-on-one readings from me, which will be something, again, that is the first time being offered. But what I'm really excited about are the other perks to the event. I have people coming in to speak to everyone and these people are I'm excited that these guests are coming because these are people who are living in their purpose. They're everyday people who decided this is what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm going to commit to it. And they're all at different phases of their transition or just fully living in it. Some of them have been successful entrepreneurs for the past 10 plus years. Some of them have gone from really broken places to starting businesses in the last year that are doing well internationally. And so these are people that I really wanted to bring in so that everybody gets to see real people really living in their purpose and really being successful at it, because that is what I ultimately am trying to do for people. I offer a lot of answers and I offer a lot of solutions, but my number one focus is, you know, the individual change, because that's how we change things as a whole. So we'll be doing a lot at the event, including that panel. In addition, I'm going to be helping people manifest something. Everybody. One thing that you want to manifest, I will go over how that's going to be done at the event. And I'll be spending time working on your manifestation goals with you guys after the event. So I'm really excited about that. We have all kind of games set up for you guys. exercise to get your intuition going. We are going to be doing some group energy work. We are going to be pouring libation together. There are just so many different aspects to the event. It's so much more than just a brunch, but I'm really excited to be able to sit down, break bread with people. We have vendors coming in. They are going to be not only offering you products, but explaining benefits to you health-wise, with natural deodorant and toothpaste and things like that. We also have vendors coming in with head wraps, and we have people coming in with smokable herbs. So all kinds of things for your whole self-healing is what we're aiming for at this brunch. So I'm really, really excited. I'm very excited. It's a very intimate event, so there are not a ton of tickets available, and the tickets are kind of going, so I don't want people to miss the opportunity to be there. But, we're going to hit the road, and if you guys happen to miss this one, then you can meet us somewhere else. But this is the first time. This is a very historical event, and I really want to embrace the people in Raleigh and the surrounding areas, so you guys are able to connect with each other outside of the event. So I'm excited.
No, that's so important. Like, I just got back, not just, but October 20th was the Daughters of the Moon conference in Baltimore. And one of the takeaways that I left with, because I did an event last year. Was it last? No, earlier this year. And
I came across that event. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so important for us to start doing more to come together in our local areas, because we already know that there's power in numbers, right? There's no doubt about, and we need to start, because we know it works. We know that our shit works. We know that we know we have the keys if we just use them. And one of the, I really applaud and appreciate what you're doing with this event. It's overdue, and it's so on time at the same time, we need to start pulling together to do more of these kinds of things, and really be able to just be honest and open with each other, so these types of things can stay genuine and stay real and stay sustainable. They got to be sustainable, and we can't do like Europeans been doing and just come on some, we here for, our own individual purposes. Like, we all have a common goal, and that's really to get free, to get free, to get, and not just free, but to be thriving, So I really appreciate and applaud the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I first came across you when you were promoting the I believe it was the money powders.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so interesting because I try to make sure when I deal with people that I'm dealing with the whole self. And so it's great if I want to help you feel better. And it's cool if I want to, teach you how to cleanse your energy. But people still got to eat. And so you want things, there are things you want to bring into your life, and the Creator has blessed this beautiful planet with all kinds of natural things that you can grab and put together and create to draw things that you want. It gets very scientific, and so we won't get into all of that here. But I know that these things work. And so I had for a while, and it's still up there on my YouTube page, there's a recipe for a money drawing oil. But one thing I'm learning is that people are busy, and so they don't necessarily want to create and make all of these things. And when you are at a certain point in your spiritual journey, you attain a lot more power, and you retain that more than the average person who is not. So by me being able to do all these extra things with the herbs and put the extra energy and ashe into them, it works. And so I began creating the powder as an option for people who didn't want to create the oil or create the oil for themselves. So it's been great. The money herb has helped a lot of people do a lot of different things, whether it be, you know, it's just so much. I can't even. This morning I got a testimonial saying that, you know, she got the money herb months ago, and all of a sudden her bank just started giving her money. It ended up being a few $100s, maybe about $400 or $500 or something like that. But she said that they were saying for whatever reason, they went through their inventory and somehow owed her money. So it becomes the most random, unexpected things. When I was using it, I was like winning lottery. I was getting a lot of checks coming in, checks that weren't supposed to come in for a couple years from now. So it's been amazing. I still use it. It's an awesome product. But yeah, the money herb is pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw the testimonials. I was like, I gotta get me some of that because I don't do a whole lot of work, but money work is one of those things that I I enjoy doing it, and it works for me, but it's not like when I see like testimonials of things that you know provided your clients and you know other people who like they do it often. I see them, like you said, winning lotto and things like that. And mine is like slow trickle money, you know. And so I'm like, okay.
How are you using it?
Well, I mean, it's really freestyle. I don't have a method.
Well, the best ways to use the herb is to burn it or to dress your candle with it. My favorite is the dressing of the candle. But I typically will burn it because it's way faster than, you know, getting the candle, blessing the candle, dressing it with the oil, dressing it with the herb, and all of the steps that go with that. But those are the ways that I suggest. When I first put the product out there, maybe a couple months in, I had a girl contact me, and she let me know she wasn't getting the results that she wanted. So I created a bath that goes along with the herb. Well, I put the recipe out there that goes along with the herb for people who may have serious or bigger financial blockages. But I'll be very honest with you. There is a video on my YouTube where I was trying ancestor money. And I tried it out. I put the video up. I let everybody know, you know, I'm trying this. And I will keep y'all posted on my results. And people came through, like, I got the money, I burned it, and this happened, that happened. Some girl was like, I just burned real money now, and all of these great things and wonderful things, and that did not show up in my life. When I burned the money, it's like my money would burn up. And so fire plays a different aspect in my life than other people. And so it really gets down to the sciences of who you are. And so, right, because I'm a fire sign. And although my sun sign is, I'm very grounded with my moon sign, which helps me kind of stay balanced. But I am a fire sign. I'm also a child of Oya. And so when you combine all of these things together and give me fire, it can destroy sometimes what it is that I'm trying to get. So if I'm burning money, then I'm burning my money. It's going to go faster. It's not going to come how I want it to. I'm burning the roads for it to come to me. If I'm using the candle with the fire, I have the color there, and it's a barrier between. And so it the candle will stabilize and ground the fire for me. And so that's one of the reasons why that ritual with the herb and the candle is one of my favorites. So yeah, you know, what is your sign?
I am, well, my earth sign, well, my sun sign is Taurus. My moon is in Aquarius, and my rising is Scorpio.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, most of the signs in my, I'm mostly fire and earth, or earth and water. Mostly earth and water in my chart.
Water. Right. So this is what I would suggest for you. I would do baths with the herb. And there's also a recipe for that as well. Because water is going to be cool for you. And it's going to help things flow for you. And then naturally this bath is going to go back into the earth, keeping you very grounded, right? So try the herb that way. You still have some, I'd imagine, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Yeah, the herb lasts a long time. Like it'll last you. It'll last a while depending on how you use it. I use it all the time.
Oh wait, I haven't. No. Let me backtrack. I still have to order the herb from you. I still have.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it. I think that's what it is. I'm like nobody's stuff. Well, I haven't really used anybody's stuff as far as money, but I am gonna use yours because I see so many positive reviews. I'm definitely ordering it, and I'm gonna put it right in my bath water, like you said, because spiritual baths are very it's a huge part of my practice. So I know, and I do feel I feel more connected when I'm in the water, whether it's a shower or a bath or even the swimming pool, definitely the ocean. So yeah, I need to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, that might be the best way to open up the flow for you, so that you're getting big, splashes.
Yeah.
Sprinkles. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna need. Now, I wanna switch gears a little bit because I know you to me, from what I see, you're a very well-rounded sister, very well-rounded, knowledgeable, and I like how you express your opinions. One of the buzzwords in the contra community right now, because we're starting to take our shit back, en masse. It's a lot of us who are returning to ancestor veneration. We, are kind of throwing away a lot of what was taught to us by Europeans. We don't really want anything to do with it anymore. And one of the buzzwords right now is cultural appropriation. How do you feel about that? And what are some of the ways that we can? It's not like a combat kind of thing because people are going to do what they want to do. But what are some ways that we can start to kind of encourage people who might not understand what our culture is to kind of go into it, just touch on it, study it, research it, just to kind of take it back and make sure that it's known that, what they say, oh, it's Appalachian magic, or, how they like to reword.
Right. A couple of things came up with the question, and I appreciate the question. It's a really, really good question, actually. But we as a people, we spend a lot of time focused on what they're doing, what they said, what they did, and all of that. And by doing that, we are feeding the monster. I had an interview with an elder. I was working on a documentary last year. But I had an interview with this elder, and, I asked him questions like, well, what do we do right now? What are we supposed to do now? Because there's so many master teachers, and y'all have great information, but what do we do right now? And he said that, everybody's standing there holding the wall and being angry, but if you just move, the wall will fall down. And I heard what he was saying, but it didn't resonate well with me because I'm like, nah, you got to knock that wall down. Like, what you talking about? But over the course of the past year and some change that has really started to resonate with me, the more I continue to walk in my own purpose and my path. I was a huge activist. I wanted everybody to wake up. I wanted to spend my time and energy doing that, protecting our stuff. And I realized that the only thing that I have to do is get in alignment with myself. Because I came here just like everybody else with a mission and a purpose. And that mission and purpose is what's going to contribute to the shift for our people. We individually have to do that. And so that kind of birthed the tribe, and for me to be able to get the mass information out to people. And I encountered a lot of people, especially people in the quote unquote conscious community, who were not ready. And it became a joke. It was extremely rejected. But you know, I continued in my purpose. And so I honestly am not an advocate for trying to get people to get it. Right. I am an advocate for living in it, and those who are ready will naturally vibrate and gravitate toward it. And so that is the best thing that I can give to our people in terms of that. Now, when introducing the information, I try to be very mindful of who it is that I'm talking to, because, you know, a lot of people would be surprised to know a lot of my clients go to church every Sunday. They are Christians. And, you know, they're proud Christians, and I don't judge them. There was a time where I did not know any better, and so I would make a lot of fun, and that came from me being in a different mind state that I see a lot of our other quote-unquote conscious people in. But, you know, everybody's on their path where they are, and so I try to just be aware of the person that I'm talking to and how I'm relaying the information to them, so where I might not say the word ritual when I'm talking to a Christian, because that might scare them when they don't realize that going to church every Sunday is a ritual, or brushing your teeth every morning is a ritual. And so adding the background can be helpful. Adding the knowledge of what you're teaching can be helpful. And just being conscious and aware of who it is you're talking to and how you're delivering that message to them. But I honestly don't really concern myself with that much anymore. I concern myself with being obedient to my spirit, because that is me. And my spirit is very ancient, and it's aware of why it's here. And so the more I become quieter within my ego self and the self that society has created me or designed me to want to be, the more I quiet that voice and really listen to self, the more I'm able to affect a global change for our people. So it's a very divine thing, and that's what I encourage and teach other people to do. Get in alignment with yourself. Did that answer the question?
No, that was perfect. That's exactly. Okay, so I'll give you some background. I don't know if I ever said this on any episode before, but I grew up in the Nation of Islam, right, under Louis Farrakhan. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So
I said, oh, wow.
Yeah, so I grew up with a lot of things that a lot of us are coming into. Like, I grew up with that, right? It was a part of how I was raised, right? And so I get really excited when I hear sisters and brothers say, just let the wall fall down. You know, like, just stop fucking with them. Just let them do what they do, and we do what we do, and we just keep doing that. Like, once you take your energy away from a thing, you take away its power. And I think that us constantly, like you said, trying to fight this quote unquote, like this system, this matrix, trying to prove that it doesn't exist the way you think it does, and trying to, instead of just creating systems of our own, we feed the beast. So I'm just reiterating what you said. I completely agree with you. And
you know, what you just said is beautiful. I saw a meme some years ago, and it spoke a lot to what I always felt. And this is no disrespect to our elders or our ancestors. Everything that they've contributed was what they came to do, and the time is now for us to do something differently. But I'm glad to know that in today there are a lot more people who would not care to sit at your establishment if you don't want us there. You know, why eat at a place that you're not wanted and you're being told to get out? Why would you want to eat there or want to go there? And we still, I mean, a lot of us still do have that. We want to fit in. We want to be accepted. We want to be treated equal. But what is it that you're trying to be treated equal to? Scientifically speaking, they are a recessive group of people. Why would you want to be equal to that? We know not who we are because we don't know ourselves. So I'm watching our people come out of that, and it is very, very beautiful. And I give thanks for even contributing a tiny piece to that. I really do give thanks. It's very fulfilling, you know.
It is, and I don't think that your contributions or any of our contributions are tiny. I think when history tells our stories in the future, in the near future, those of us who are taking up and the thing is, we're not doing anything dramatic to me, but we are, right? Because what we're doing is we're doing what we want to do. Like, we're not doing things based on being martyrs or, you know, self-deprecating, or we're not killing ourselves in the name of a revolution. We are the revolution. Just by standing in our own truth and power, we are, and this is something that was said over the weekend. Daisy October, Latifah said this. She's an astrologer. She's a conjure woman too, and she said, we are the United States of America, the black woman, the melanated woman, the woman of African descent in America is public enemy number one. And the reason why is because our voices are the strongest. We birth nations, and on top of that, people listen and imitate and copy everything we do. Okay? There's no trend that we set that isn't followed, that isn't copied. From gay men to straight women to children, everything in pop culture emulates and imitates and caters to the black woman. Even if it's from hip hop, even in its attempt to be misogynistic, it's still focused on the black woman, right? And so when we stand up and we say we're not fucking with that, like we're not gonna be a party to that anymore, everything changes. Everything. Nothing can stay the same without our contribution to it. So, you know, I'm
standard, and we have forgotten that. A lot of our sisters are broken. A lot of our sisters deal, and just our people as a whole, but, you know, we deal with mental health issues. We are going through emotional things. I mean, life, it gets very heavy. We as a people are very sick, and we have to, it's not an option anymore. We have to start getting ourselves healed. And it all starts with your mindset. And when women like us really stand up and be bold in it, unapologetically righteous in our own right, that's when the change happens. And you're watching it. I'm watching it. And so I give thanks to everybody out there who is doing that, but especially our sisters. No offense to you, my brothers. But our sisters is who has to set the standard. And I commend all of you going through everything that you're going through and every single day with, you know, jobs and kids and frenemies and relationships and bills, and this is real life stuff. You're still staying solid and grounded in who and what you are and what your contribution is, and that's beautiful. And even if you don't get it right every day all the time, damn it, you committed to it, and that's what counts, and that's what matters. And so I give thanks to even be here in this time. It is a very beautiful time for people who are willing to get their perspective right, because when you start recalling why you're here, you'll start to see the beauty in what it is that you can contribute and what we can create. This is
That's
our
nice,
opportunity to create whatever we want to leave behind. Right now in the tribe that I created, you know, we're working on our legacies. What is it that you want to leave here? And how do you walk in that right now? Because it's one thing to say, yeah, when people talk about me, they're going to say all of these great things. You know, everybody I encountered felt good and I left all of this behind. But is everything you're doing right now and today in alignment with that? And typically it's not. And the reason why ain't because you crazy or something's wrong with you. It's because you were programmed not to think that way. We were programmed to put things off. And what do we want to be when we grow up? I don't teach my daughter that. Who are you right now?
Right.
What gift is yours? And we're going to work and cultivate that. And anything you want to do right now, that's what we'll do. And when you grow up, you'll have you'll be a whole person. And so you'll be in alignment then with what your contribution is. And so it's not a question of what is it that you want to do when you grow up. Who are you right now?
Right.
You know?
I say. That's right. And that's and something you just said that's so important about our brothers, how we tend to, there's a trend going on right now, and it's not nothing new. You know, there's nothing new under the sun. We've had issues like this in the past, where there's a clear and distinct divide between our men and us, right? And we have it's popular right now to hate black men. You know, it's like I'm in a lot of groups on social media, and it is very unpopular to praise and respect and honor black men. And I understand where that comes from, but I think that there needs to be like a healing of that, and it has to come from both sides. It has to be like a removal of the ego and really trying to come into and embrace a union of the mind, right? And not just the minds, but also of the hearts. Like, we need each other. There's no way that we can make it, that we can do this without one another. And I'm speaking also, like I said, growing up in the nation, it gave me they have a class called, the women are called MGT, or Muslim Girls Training, MGT, GCC, and then the brothers are the FOI, the Food of Islam, right? And the MGT have a Saturday class where we go every week to learn how to sew, and these are tenets that you say every Saturday: how to sew, how to keep house, how to take care of our children, how to act at home and abroad. I'm not saying it in the exact order, but essentially, and I might be giving away, whatever. I don't care about giving away secrets in terms of that. It's no secret. You know, the Nation of Islam is now united with what do you call them? The Christian Scientology, that's what it is. But anyway, long story short, part of my indoctrination, part of my programming is union with the black man, right? So I'm speaking a lot from that space, but also as a person who's observing my people kind of, you know, from a space of falling apart to getting it together. I'm kind of long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I know too, girl.
But essentially, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say though. Like, how do we get to a space where?
I think that, you know, everything you're touching on, I'm thankful for, because these are really good points. I think that it has to start again on the individual level. And so everybody now has to become responsible. I give thanks, and I know I keep referring back to the Oracle Oya tribe, but it has allowed our people, men and women, to start seeking and gaining self-healing and knowledge. And by doing that, I'm naturally watching us come together. But until it's going to have, traditionally, we kept things separate. Like you just said,
Right.
y'all didn't take classes together. Y'all had your own classes and you came together. And so there are a lot of separate healings that have to happen and have to take place. And that's divine that we're talking about that now, because that's something that I'm going to be moving around a lot next year in 2018 and 19, but I really want to focus in on dealing with our women and then dealing with our men, because I think that we don't give our men enough credit. We really don't. And because we spend so much time bashing them and judging them and putting them down, they can't even be themselves. They have to be who they think we want them to be. They don't even know how to be that, because that's not them. And then, all of these walls come crumbling down. We are the women who set the standard, period. So it has to start with us. There's a lot of pain. There is a lot of hurt coming from both sides. There is a lot of conditioning and programming that has nothing to do with us, but we have been programmed in that way. And so we carry a lot of the traditions of the European and what they put on us. A broken black family, that wasn't the norm until recently. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when we started to think about the black family, black families were together in the 50s. That wasn't, our homes were not just scattered and broken. This is new. And through everything that we went through, even our families being separated and having to be rebuilt, and you ending up with your cousin or you with your mom as your spouse and all kind of crazy stuff that happened to us, we still were solid and had a foundation of family and commitment to each other. So these are recent things and traumas that we've gone through that we can actually start healing from now, so it won't get any worse. In order for us to do that, it has to be women like us and our male counterparts who are willing to keep that voice. I'm not going to say I'm perfect, and every time I see a sister saying something crazy about a dude, or every time I see a dude saying something crazy about a sister, I check them. Sometimes I honestly, it's not my place to, or I wasn't called to do that. But I try to be mindful and take the moments where they sit. I'm not going to go on your Instagram page and give you a whole thesis statement about why that came from a place of trauma. I already know it did. And I know that you're not at a place, maybe you are, wherever you are, you're comfortable with, and who am I to tell you that you got to come out of that space? I only am seeking those who are seeking me. And by doing that, it's more of a powerful impact. It's a quality change, and it's a quality thing. And so now, when I've been able to touch 10 people, and they've each touched 10 more people, and everybody's got their vibration proper so that they're giving off the energy necessary for us to have the proper change. We're really creating change. When we can get all these people on the phone during Ashe Day, which happens the 21st of every month, and our energies are together, and we pray and we ask for the healing of our people as a whole, on the mental, physical, economical, all levels. We call out for our ancestors to walk with us and bring that energy forth. That's how we will create the change. Everybody ain't gonna do it. It's not their life cycle to. It's just not. And we can't force people to be 100 million life cycles ahead of where the hell they are. I mean, we don't know why they came through and have to do that in that life cycle. For all we know, that's their own past cycle trauma catching up with them, karma kicking them in their butt. I don't know. And it's not my duty to find out. My only duty is to walk in my purpose. That's it. Right. And by committing to that and doing that, I'm watching it happen. And you are a person who is doing that too, And if you sit back and just recall once you said, I'm going to commit to doing the things that are fulfilling not only for myself but for our people, you're watching it happen.
Right.
You know?
Yep. That's the truth. And I definitely don't minimize our sister's pain in dealing with brothers, and I don't minimize the brother's pain from dealing with us either, because I've seen us get very nasty with some really good men, and I've definitely seen some really good sisters, you know, I've seen them get hurt, you know, physically, mentally. It happens on
back
both
and
sides.
forth.
Yeah,
right.
it's a cycle,
and nobody means to do it. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And we have to start to heal ourselves. We have to accept that, you know, brothers, they're not at a point. I can't say they're not at a point, because they are at a point that where they're willing to admit their shit. And like you said, it's not everybody across the board, because, you know, everybody's not willing to do that. It takes a very developed mind and developed spirit to say, okay, let me go ahead and bring all my darkness to the light. Let me go ahead and display all my shit for me first, you know, display it all and really look at it and throw away, or not even throw away, but mature the parts that need to be matured, that are still that hurt child, that are still, you know, those underdeveloped.
And everybody has that hurt child.
Yeah.
You can't, how can you not, when you're raised by people who were raised by people who were raised by people all living through trauma?
Yep.
How?
Mm-hmm.
And our people, I'm so glad you said that, because what you just said and something you said earlier I meant to speak on was the secret. Our families have been built to keep secrets. And it would blow your mind the kind of secrets that your grandparents or great-grandparents had, sometimes even your parents.
Right.
But we were taught to do that. And even when it comes to, let me share this little tad bit, and I hope that this does not resonate poorly with people who may be a part of what I'm about to speak on. I don't mean this in any disrespect to anybody. It's just my truth, and I have a right to speak my truth. I had the very beautiful privilege of living around many priests in Ifa. And I did that for a while, and it was a life-changing experience. But I also had the opportunity to get readings and things like that from people outside of Ifa, like in Palo. And I was also at a place of discovering myself more. And so these are all different African spiritual religions that I'm speaking of. And I was about to go through an initiation process. I was about to try to get into the priesthood. That was where my path was headed. And I got this reading, and the reading told me, no, you are not to get initiated because you are already given everything you need. It's kind of if the Creator gave you everything that you need, but you want to go ask a man to give it to you, how disrespectful is that to the Creator? So I started to embrace more of myself again, and the things that I had been doing 20 years ago again, and they were frowned upon and rejected by priests in different religions, because as far as they knew it, who the hell am I? Why is it that I am able to do this when I didn't go through what they went through? I didn't do the process that they did, and I don't know. I wasn't told the secrets that they were told. So I should not be able to do this. And then everything is a secret, and you got to go through extreme process, and I get why it's like that. Our power and our magic was taken from us. Our religion and what we did, and the way we conducted ourselves, our spiritual senses were taken from us. And so now everything has to be a secret, because if we are caught doing these things, it could become a problem for everybody. And so we're going to make sure you go through these processes to see if you are an individual who's even worthy of having them. That time is fading, and we are getting to a place of recalling our DNA memory is coming back. Our melanin memory is coming back. And so it's a lot of us who don't need those things anymore. We just go because we're connected. And it's frowned upon, but I am a person that does not deal in secret. I try to teach people more than I just try to give them answers, more than I just try to do spiritual work for them. I want to give you the tools that are necessary so that you can thrive and be successful across the board. And it's not a secret. The sun is not a secret. The moon is not a secret. Like, you know, why now do we have to make it like it's this big quiet thing and we have to exclude people from it? This is our people's stuff. You have a right to it. It's yours. The Creator built you with all of it already inside of you, truthfully speaking, you know? So I just had to get that out. I'm sorry, I did. Because a lot of us who are in the work that we're in, I will say some people do need discipline. I watch a lot of our sisters get on the internet and say and do all kinds of stuff, putting people in jars and burying. Like, it's a lot of stuff that I would not be a fan of or would not encourage you to do. And so there are a lot of people who do need some sort of discipline with what they're doing. However, it's not a time to be scared, and the things that are to save your life should not be kept a secret. You should know these things, and we're naturally starting to activate that within ourselves, and it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. And to the women that I'm watching do that, they are becoming more balanced and even kill across the board, dealing and healing their own traumas, so that when they do have the broken male, they know how to deal with him. They're more whole to be able to determine how to deal with them. And I'm not saying that as a woman it's your duty to sacrifice your existence and your purpose because you love somebody and want to see them do better. No. Before anything, you owe it to yourself to stay committed to your purpose. However, there are ways that we need to conduct ourselves with our Black men to make the process a lot easier. So just seek love. When we start dealing with each other from a state of purity and love, things are naturally going to shift. Right.
Absolutely. That's one of the things, because I hear, like, it replays in my mind, and I wish I had never, no, I can't say that, because seeing the other side actually helped me a lot with a lot of things. Like, I think that one of the things that we tend to do is think that we have to give up parts of ourselves in order to see things work around us. And one of the things that I realized was that I can do everything I want to do and anything I want to do, and everything around me is going to fall into place. And if things around me don't fall into place, they're going to fall away from me, and that's fine if they do. And that's where, you know, not having, of course you become attached to the people who are around you and the things that, you know, you accumulate. But if I'm with someone who is not interested in seeing me grow, or who isn't interested in seeing me change or become the person that I'm gonna be, and they fall away from me, that's not really a loss, you know. And that goes for brothers and sisters. If you are in a relationship and you feel like you can't fully be yourself, just work on being fully yourself and see how things work in your favor. You know, your partner will start to grow and change with you. You know, maybe things are happening because the catalyst really is you. You know, and that's something that we deal with as women a lot of times. You know, sometimes we do get with people who ain't really about nothing, you know. But other times it's because we're not being strong in who we are. And if we do that, then everything around us will start to develop in those ways too. So that's just a word of advice I think a lot of us need to hear, because sometimes it's not that the brothers ain't shit. If we we chose them, as long as there's no abuse happening, you know, maybe it's that you're just not standing in your own power.
Real talk, because you only attracting a man who is vibrating on the frequency in which you're putting out. That's the reality of it. Everything that you're going to get in your life is going to come because of the energy that you're putting out, period. And so if you're wondering why it is that this is the type of man that you're attracting, that's not just a cute statement to put on a post. It's the truth. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Right. And so whatever energy you're vibrating in is the existence that you'll live in. And so wherever you're vibrating is where you'll meet people at. And this is not just men or women, and this is not just relationship-wise. But when you, like you said, be who you are, when you start to walk all the way in your purpose, in your lane, and stay on your path, you're going to meet people whose paths are parallel to yours. And y'all going to be able to chat and kick it in whatever relationship aspect is comfortable as you guys go down your path together. And at some point, your paths might start to go in different directions. And so there's going to be some distance between you. And that always starts on a mental level and emotional level before it's physical. People are already starting to separate and grow apart on those levels before you actually see them physically split. I mean, unless, you know, it's some different circumstance or y'all were together and then somebody moved away for work or whatever. But typically when you are cutting ties with a person, it's because y'all are growing apart, and we have to be okay with that. We get too attached to people where we wrap our whole existence up in them, and we're failing our purpose. And the reason why it's so important that you are committed to your purpose is because your purpose has to do with your contribution. It's not about you. Me doing what I do, I'm very thankful for, because it allows me to start to remove myself from the matrix. But at the same time, it's not about me. It's about the clients that I help. It's about the people whose lives I touch. It's about the people I help evolve. That's who it's for. And if I made a decision to no longer doing that, how selfish am I now? Because it's so many people who I know I'm supposed to help so they can help other people, and it's not going to happen because I can't even walk in my path because I'm so worried about the person that's veering off from me. I hop, skip, and left my whole path just to ride on their back, you know, and we do that and then get mad at the other person for allowing us to be on their path with them.
Right.
So walk in your light, you know, be committed to who you are, and we have to be okay with people coming and going and not feeling like they owe us something, because that could happen. And I watch it happen a lot. I get a lot of people that come to me from relationships, and a lot of the talk goes back to, number one, lack of self-love and being whole. And within that, you'll find 1A, which is people owe you things. I'm in this relationship because I put so much time in already. So that is an aspect of you feeling like they owe you something. Well, I done put all this time in, you're going to give me something, you know? Or I'm in this relationship because I don't want to leave that. I feel bad if I leave them. Who is that helping? Who is that benefiting? Not only are you doing yourself a disservice, your partner a disservice, you're doing a disservice to everybody who you're supposed to positively affect in your contribution to the world by not living in your purpose. So we got to be okay sometimes letting people go and we have to be okay with loving people and contributing to them from a distance until, you know, y'all meet again or not. Without our culture, without our traditions, it's very difficult to kind of navigate and maneuver relationships because we don't really understand what they are or why they exist, what it means to be in a love relationship or be married with somebody. We don't comprehend fully because we don't have our culture and our traditions anymore. And so with a skewed view, we have skewed expectations and we end up unfulfilled and we are walking around as broken people who hate love, self-love, this shit, or I'm a hopeless romantic. Why would you want to be any of those things? You know what I mean? Because we don't understand what love is. We don't understand relationships. We don't understand marriage anymore. And so we have to do the individual healing. We have to do the individual knowledge gaining and application, because I meet a lot of people who can tell you a trillion things about our history, but cannot tell you how to implement any of those things right now in today in a way that makes sense for where we are. Useless.
Right. And that's what I want to recommend to people listening to this episode. When you speak on love and relationships, you're also speaking about community building. And the same principles and something that we've lost, the same principles that apply to our interpersonal relationships, be it your love partner, your friends, your family, those are the same rules that apply when you're building a community. And one of the books that helped me understand that a lot more was Fukiao Bunseki, right? He's a researcher, an elder, who wrote a book called The Bantu Congo Cosmology. That's not the exact title, but if you Google Bantu Congo Cosmology, Fukiao Bunseki, his book will come up. It looks like it's really expensive, but when you go on Amazon, you'll see it for maybe $20-$30. And he really expands principles of our ancestors in the Congo, how they built their communities, principles that they lived by to keep people cohesive and sane. You might hear the saying, if a person is, hold on one second.
Okay.
If a person is depressed not depressed, that's wrong. If a person has committed a crime, the community gathers around that person to tell them all the good deeds that they've done, all the positive impacts that they've made on the community. And this is, I don't know if that's the extent of what happens to a person who commits a crime, but this is they remind them of who they are. Instead of bashing or, cutting off the hands of a person who is stolen, you remind them of what their essence is. And that, deters them. They remember that they're above stealing. They're above harming someone. They're above fighting each other. This is not a part of them. They band together to fight an enemy. They band together to fight an outsider, but they don't do that with each other because their essence is too who they are, what their purposes, what their contributions are. They're way too important than, to do these things, So
right.
I think, kind of having, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that was it, what you keyed on, their contribution and what they're offering. And a lot of people don't know what their contribution is. I have a lot of clients who are extremely successful in corporate America. They got a big house, they got a nice car, they got a huge salary, and are confused. Don't know themselves, don't know what their purpose is or why they're here. I done did this for 20 years, and I like it, I think, but I don't know.
Right.
And when you are not feeling valued, and the people around you don't know your value, it can become very easy. And then we're taught, to punish in a whole different way anyway. We're not taught to uplift and make each other feel whole.
Right.
And I am not a saint, okay? Because you come to me, I'm going to come right back to you, be very honest. But that is a part of the deep-rooted trauma as a people that we have. And so it starts with individual accountability. And so let me give you a perfect living example. I like to be very transparent with people. I like to be very real with people because I've learned over the past year that people have this idea of me from my Instagram page that is completely off. Like I'm a person. I'm just like you guys. I'm very balanced. And I'm exploring the higher parts of myself because I know fully the lower parts.
Exactly.
But I still am a whole person. And so I'll never live in just one. I want to be completely balanced. And so that's kind of where I'm at in now. And so, I made a post yesterday. It was I reposted a post yesterday about vegans. I thought it was funny. No offense. I mean, I didn't think that the vegans would be as upset as they got off
get
the
mad.
post because they were very mad. And, the post was like, your vegans are starting to act like people of a certain religion where you're trying to preach this to me. Yeah. Right, exactly. And then they went off. They were not happy about that.
That's because they want some chicken. That's why. They want some chicken.
And I'm just like, if you eating that clean, shouldn't you be more emotionally balanced? Do you feel what I'm saying? Shouldn't you be more stable as to not be so upset by this post because you're so clean? And so I kind of went in and I said some things that just weren't nice. And I'll be very honest. I was not practicing my best self or our most prized traditions, in doing that. However, that's a moment for me to decide how do I want to grow. And so I say that to say that you guys, y'all are going to have these moments in every day with everything that you encounter, everybody that you encounter, especially in a love relationship. And so when there are ways for you to be a better you and for you to evolve into a better you, take the opportunity to do that. Now, I'm not going to apologize for anything that I said yesterday because I said what I said when I said it, and that's what I meant. However, moving forward, I can conduct myself in a better way so that I make our people feel good. But don't come for me now. I don't do well with that now, but I'm trying to do better.
And that's like, what? I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think that there's anything wrong with checking someone who comes at you crazy. And I think that I think it's important that we state, listen, I have my motto that I remind myself of every time I feel like I'm getting a little bit too full of myself, which does happen sometimes. I'm human too, and I'm confident, and I believe in myself, and sometimes I get a little bit too, I think I can do more than I can. I think I can, I think that I've developed gifts that I haven't developed yet. I have to remind myself and this is from a Styles P song, Jada Kiss said, I ain't shit, but at least I know it, right? At least I know.
You gotta know yourself.
You gotta know. Right. And it's that, it's not that I ain't shit, because I am all the things that I am. But at the same time, I have to remind myself to stay humble because I just 2 years ago slandered a sister who didn't deserve it. Or, 3 years ago, I might have hurt somebody and I knew I was hurting them and I still went along with doing what I wanted to do because I was being selfish. Like, I have to remind myself that I have done things and might still do things that are unsavory. Not intentionally anymore unless, you come for me. But, I have to, it keeps me grounded and it actually keeps me making or trying to make the best possible choice. And so anybody who kind of, is coming into this, you have to understand that your shadow is a part of you. If you have been a manipulator, that's a part of you. You can't just come into some kind of knowledge of self and think that you're,
no longer a manipulator. Nah.
Right. Or you're manipulating people, but you are justifying it because now you got knowledge of self. Like, nah, you still a manipulator. And the deeper you get into it, the more people are going to see you as that. So you have to work on that part of yourself. We have to be able to accept, embrace, love on, and mature those shadow parts of us that we don't want nobody to see.
That's the part of self-love that people miss. It's a process for you loving yourself. It ain't about you having a wine date with yourself in front of the Netflix. Right. This is about you really looking at how nasty, mean, and dirty you can be in your shadow self and saying, well, this is me, and I accept myself as I am right now, and I'm committed to being a better me. And it allows you to be, that's why I can be as transparent as I am. Because I know that I am a human being, and I came here with my own points of evolution of self. Otherwise, nobody would be here. You would have ascended right now. We would be praying to you to come send us some stuff. You'd be guarding somebody, all of that. But as long as you in the physical, it's going to be work that you could do on you. And no matter how much information you have, no matter how many people you can help, no matter how spiritually enlightened you think that you are, you have work to do on you.
Yep.
Always. Or you wouldn't be
always
here,
every day. And you, not only do you have work to do, but if you care to share, you very well should, because somebody's dealing with the same shortcomings, the same issues, attracting the same drama and trauma to their lives. And by you pretending, you're actually harming the people that you could be helping or that you're supposed to be helping more than if you were to just be honest about who you are. And you know what I mean? Like
and that's why when I get people one-on-one who are, like I had a client recently, and she's like, looking at your page, like I'm thinking, dang, she got to be balling. And I'm like, balling? I wouldn't say that. Not even close. But I will say that I used to work very hard in the matrix, and since I stopped, I'm still at the same level I was of sustaining my life that I did working for somebody else. So I deem myself as successful, not as successful as I want to be. I'm definitely not balling out. I can't go buy no islands nowhere. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't like, I can't just build school. To me, that's when I'm balling out. You feel me? But I'm just like everybody else. I have tools and resources that I use to help me go through life. So that my life is more comfortable than it had been without these tools and resources. A lot of people don't know I was in the military, and I got hurt from being in the military. I had really bad back problems. I had cracks in my bones, and I still deal with a lot of I have to actively work toward these things. And so during the time when I dealt with the most physical trauma, and then some years later I had my daughter, it still was difficult. And going through the process of being pregnant, that was difficult. It would be days where I couldn't get out the bed. I had to call and have my mom come over to get my daughter. Just really really hard situations that I beat myself up for. It put me into having a lot of anxiety. It put me into dealing with depression. And these are things that I decided are not going to control my existence. But I didn't want medication, and European methods just were not working for me. So I took things into my own hands, and that's when I started applying all of the sciences and things to help me get my own energy clear, because I love being happy and I love feeling good. And it was to a point where I could not control my physical pain. Now I can't control my emotional pain, and so I'm just in pain, but I don't agree to this. And so I spent years using these tools and kind of mastering them in my own life, and I have been able to share and give these things. But I try to be very transparent with my clients so that they understand that I'm not telling you to aspire to be any imaginary anything. I'm only telling you to aspire to be whatever you desire yourself to be if you listen to you. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did and how I got through everyday life in the circumstances that you may have been in, and dealing with those things, you know?
Right. Exactly. That's the testimony right there. You sharing your story, and this is for every single one of us. You're great. The most powerful thing we can do for each other right now is to share our truth, right? Not that I'm not gonna push my truth on you. You don't have to, practice hoodoo. You don't have to practice Christianity. You don't even have to practice Islam. You don't have to do anything that anybody tells you to do. The best thing you can do for me is to share your truth with me, so I can take the part that resonate, that I can relate to, and use that to be a better person. Use that to be stronger. Use that to express my truth too to the next sister, and then the next sister. And and I think in sharing these stories and sharing not just our truth, but what we can provide to help you come firmer into yours,
And we're going to do a lot of that at the event, and that's why I'm most excited about the panel being there, because you guys are going to, I don't know if you're coming or not, but everybody who's coming, you guys will get to meet people who have gone from being broken in abusive relationships, not even wanting to live when I first got contact with them, to being successful business owners, living in their dream state, with their business successful and still with a dream job, like things that would blow honestly, I know that I'm watching the work. I'm giving them things that I know that work. It still amazes me at their progress, though. It's amazing. And it inspires me to keep doing this stuff. And so I want people to really, to get it. And I want them to get that same, feeling of, I can do this. I'm built to do this. There's nobody else built to be me but me. And own it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought, because I was just...
No, I was just going to say, just be proud in it. That's all.
That's the truth right there. To take those parts of yourself that you now can look at, and don't be ashamed of them, but be proud that you can see them. Be proud of them, and then grow them up. I'm a strong proponent for not killing any parts of myself. I don't want to throw any of it away. I want to love it. I want to thank it for its service, and I want it to work for me and not me be a slave to it. So
I say,
thank you so
life.
much. Yep. Can you tell people where to get tickets for the event, how they can connect with you, where they can find you?
Yes. So you guys can visit my website to get tickets. It's so interesting because it has been such a comfortable interview. I keep forgetting that everybody's, tunes into this. But you guys can get the tickets at oracleoya.com /events. That's oracleoya.com/events, and that you guys can follow me on Instagram and other social platforms at Oracle Oya. Just feel free to reach out to me on oracleoya@gmail, oracleoya.com, oracleoya on Instagram. You guys will be able to get your tickets. There are a bunch of different tickets that are available, but there are not that many left. But there are different types if you just want general entry, if you want a one-on-one session, if you would like me to help you do a guided plan where I sit with you and help you create a plan to get better within yourself or to attract something into your life. So you guys can find out more information about all of those ticket options and the services that I offer on my website. Again, it's oracleoya.com.
Thank you so much, sis.
Yes, ma'am. It has been a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to rap.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll have you on again soon. And I'll see you. Hopefully I have I'm conducting a class on Saturday at 3:00. But if we finish early, I'll still swing through just so I can meet you in person.
Well, the event on Saturday is from 11 until about 3. So, and then from 3 to 5, you guys, because it's a brunch, so I wanted, kind of have it closer to breakfast hours. But from 3 to 5, I have a lot of different booths and things that will be set up. So if you happen to swing by, let me know. But get with me anyways, because there are a lot of people coming from different places. We have people coming from Florida and Philly and Virginia, and they're just going to be around Louisiana, I believe, Alabama. So people are coming from afar, and we can do an after event kind of, gathering for us. Yeah, we'll chat.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much, and you have a beautiful
Thank you so much.
Yes,
you too. Peace.
Peace.